Now available on Kickstarter, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this all-new Kickstarter exclusive John Haynes comic book. Put in your pledge and get the standard, variant, or retro covers of John Haynes at Death's Door and other great stretch goal rewards on Kickstarter today. On Friday afternoon, Academy Award-winning actor Will Smith made a video on YouTube making yet another apology to comedian Chris Rock. Now, your Will Smith was apologizing for the umpteenth time for storming onto the stage and slapping comedian Chris Rock after he made a joke about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, being in G.I. Jane 2. Now, I thought your Will Smith would have had some growth after his trip to India to try to deal with his issues. Unfortunately, your Will Smith has come back from India more pathetic than he did after the slap that he gave Chris Rock at the Oscars. Now, the reason why your Will Smith continues to keep apologizing to Chris Rock has nothing to do with the Oscars. It has to do to the fact that your Will Smith is embarrassed that he expressed his emotions in public. Now, when it comes down to your beta males, they love to have a smooth world. And your Will Smith wanted to continue to have a smooth world and an image where he could be this positive ideal. Unfortunately, when your Will Smith wound up exploding in rage, that changed the image that he presented to the world, and your Will Smith cannot deal with the fact that he expressed his anger in public, and he's embarrassed by the fact that he expressed his anger in public, and because he's embarrassed, he feels like people don't see him in the same way, so he feels guilty about expressing his anger and exploding in that rage. And because he feels embarrassed about expressing his anger, what he's trying to do is apologize constantly because he's embarrassed about everybody seeing how angry he was. And that's something that betas do because they cannot deal with the fact that people have seen a side of them and they don't want people to think about that side of them. But what your Will Smith doesn't understand is that people who really care about him understand that he's human. And because we understand that he's human, we understand why he got angry. We understand why he exploded in that rage. And we understand there was nothing to be embarrassed about. We understand all of the issues that led to him losing it like that. We all understand that your Will Smith has been emasculated by his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who has gone on to disrespect her husband by going out here and talking about an entanglement she had with musician August Alsina. And we've seen this man basically be castrated on her Red Table Talk. So we understand the foundations for all of Will Smith's frustration and anger and everything that led to him getting so angry at the Oscars. We understand the source of his anger, and we also understand that your Will Smith is under a lot of pressure as related to the strains on his marriage and the feelings of powerlessness that he has as related to his marriage, and his desperate attempt to try to please his wife after the G.I. Jane 2 joke. We all understand that your Jada Pinkett basically sicked Will Smith on Chris Rock like an attack dog. So we understand why your Will Smith went out here and exploded in that rage, and we understand all of this. But when it comes down to beta males, they still feel embarrassed because they've lost control of themselves, and they fear that people will think again less of them for losing that control. And that's something Will Smith needs to reconcile with, not with some guru in India, but that's something he needs to work with a licensed psychotherapist like Dr. Robert Glover. That's why I said Will Smith needed to see Dr. Robert Glover, because he understands the beta male nice guy paradigm, and he could help Will Smith break free of the nice guy paradigm he hasn't broken out of and is getting worse because he's come back from India and he's no longer a broken down man. He's basically a pathetic man at this point because he has not had the courage to go out here and acknowledge that he's having serious problems with his life, and he's not really working on solutions towards moving his life forward. No, that's why I call him pathetic, because a pathetic man is somebody who willfully and intentionally stays in a toxic situation, and a pathetic person refuses to acknowledge the problems that they're having and do make efforts to do better. No, they continue to stay inside of a toxic situation and continue to foster codependent relationships with people. And that's what Will Smith is doing right now, trying to foster codependent situations and still trying to go out here and trying to make these codependent situations work instead of walking away from these situations. Now, your Will Smith is the one continuing to keep this thing going. When I look at your Chris Rock, yes, he made the joke, but he's moved on and he's not really dealing with this anymore. He is doing what most men do in these kind of situations. You just shake it off and keep it moving. You don't keep pushing the drama the way a guy like Will Smith does, because beta males, they love to keep the drama going, and as they keep the drama going, nothing really resolves, because these kind of guys don't really want to resolve the problem. They want to keep getting attention for themselves, and they want to keep getting attention for themselves because they really feel inadequate about themselves, and they really are hurting because you know something about them that makes people see that you're not perfect. And that's another reason why the beta male keeps the drama going, because he wants to keep his world smooth and he wants to keep it perfect. So what he wants to do is try to foster a covert contract with you where you'll keep talking about this situation and you'll have this secret between you. And this is not a healthy way to do things. Now, your Chris Rock, after Will Smith has reached out to him, has not made any contact with him. And once a guy makes no contact with you and you have gone out here and made your apology, what you do is charge it to the game and keep it moving. But beta males can't charge anything to the game because that really disrupts their whole world, because in order for their world to be smooth, they need to keep this codependent relationship going, because you know something about them and they don't want the rest of the world to know it about you. So your Will Smith continues to make apologies to Chris Rock, even though he's apologized to him after the Oscars. He's apologized to him again after that, and keeping apologizing to a guy about something that really shows weakness. A man goes out here, he'll go talk to that man in private, drop an apology to him in private, and then even if he doesn't accept it, what he's going to do is keep it moving, because as he sees it, the event has been dealt with. But your Will Smith doesn't want to resolve this, and the main reason why your Will Smith doesn't want to resolve it, in addition to himself being embarrassed and having his image tarnished, is the fact that he doesn't want to confront the person who he really needs to confront, and that person is his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Your Will Smith doesn't have the courage to go out here and confront Jada Pinkett about the ratchet and raggedy way she has mistreated him. And instead of him having the courage to go out here and confront Jada Pinkett Smith by filing for divorce and taking his respect, he continues to try to beg Chris Rock for his respect, and that's what makes him extremely pathetic, because he's going out here and looking to beg a man to accept an apology, and begging a man to accept an apology is coming from a position of weakness. A man doesn't go out here begging another man to say sorry to him. No, a man makes his apology, and that guy, he can choose to accept that apology and keep it moving, or he can just choose to not accept it and go about his business. But in either case, a man goes out here and he just puts his cards on the table, and if the dude isn't interested in hearing him, he just isn't interested in hearing him, and he just charges everything to the game and keeps it moving. And I would have to say it's a bit of a sucker move what your Will Smith did by making this video on YouTube, because making this video on YouTube, as I see it, that is just a sucker move as I see it, because no man out here is going to make another apology to another man. No, a man is going to wait for a private moment that he has with a dude, and they're going to settle whatever business they have in private. They're not going to go out here making videos trying to reach an individual who isn't interested in being reached. No, what a man is going to do is say, okay, I'm coming back from wherever I'm at, and I'm going to get back to my business, and we're going to just put whatever is between us on the shelf. And if that dude is interested in talking to me, he will talk to me. But otherwise, I got other stuff to do. I'm not going to be sitting up here begging some dude for an apology, and I'm not going to be begging his mama and bringing other people into it, because right there, that's some sucker stuff right there. Men don't go out here and put business out here like this. And your Will Smith was looking extra pathetic and looking like a female, making this sad video talking about, I'm really sorry. No, you're not sorry. You're sorry that you got embarrassed. You're sorry that your image took a hit. You're sorry that you lost a lot of projects that got put on hold. And you're sorry that that you've been exposed to being a weak man whose testicles are in the Birkin bag of Jada Pinkett Smith, and you're being exposed for being a man whose house is not in order. And what's really sad about your Will Smith is that even after taking a months-long trip to India to so-called try to deal with his issues, he comes back to America doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result, which is the definition of insanity, because it's insane to try to go back to business as usual when things are still a complete mess. Your Will Smith still refuses to deal with his ratchet wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who continues to disrespect him, and he's still sitting here hoping, I'll make an apology to Chris Rock. Maybe that'll smooth things over, when the thing that you need to do to make your life a lot smoother is file for divorce from this raggedy heifer and send her back to Pookie and Ray Ray, and let her go deal with Pookie and Ray Ray. Let her deal with those dudes, and you get on with your life. But your Will Smith sadly doesn't have the backbone or the stones to make the changes necessary to improve the quality of his life. No, your Will Smith continues to stay in the same place, and he continues to think staying in the same place is going to improve the quality of his life. No, that's what pathetic simps do. They continue to stay in toxic situations with toxic people, and then they sit there and talk about, I wish things would change. Well, things don't change until you acknowledge that your life is a living hell. And sadly, your Will Smith would rather stay burning in hell, because he is used to getting attention in hell, and he doesn't want to go out here and deal with the prospect of being by himself. Now, I myself had to deal with situations like Will Smith had to deal with when I was in junior high and high school, and I saw myself in a situation like this, like Will Smith was when I was 13 years old. And I had these guys who said they didn't want to be around me after we were hanging out, and they stole my comics. And after I got my comics back, I just left these guys alone. Now, they came to me apologizing on graduation day, and since I decided that I wanted to move on, I just accepted their apology, and then I kept it moving. I didn't keep going into a back and forth with them. I didn't keep the drama going. No, I just left people alone. And sadly, your Will Smith doesn't understand the whole concept of letting something go. He just wants to, again, keep things going. He wants to keep the drama going. And that's what beta males love to do. They love keeping the drama going. And that's the saddest part about watching Will Smith, is that as he gets older, we see that he's not the hero on screen, that he actually is basically turning into the villain, and he's turning into the villain and his own worst enemy because he refuses to go out here and make the changes to his life that will improve the quality of his life. No, your Will Smith wants to go out here and make himself look like he's trying to do the right thing, but he's not really looking to do the right thing for the right reasons. He's continuing to apologize to Chris Rock because he's sorry people saw how messed up his life is. He's looking to go out here and try to make his world smooth by trying to enter Chris Rock into a covert contract with his apology, hoping that P won't go out here and further expose him. But the irony is that he further exposes himself to be a weak and pathetic man, and this pathetic man continues to grovel to the world with these apologies instead of standing up like a man, realizing that yes, we all have embarrassing moments in our lives, and we have to go out here and continue to move on after those embarrassing moments. Yes, your Will Smith got angry, but people who care about Will Smith understand why he got angry. They understand why he was frustrated. They understand that all of this led to an explosion of rage, and sadly, your Will Smith doesn't see the reason why he exploded in that rage wasn't Chris Rock. No, it was his own wife, Jada Pinkett, who he continues to give a pass to. And as he gives his wife a pass and doesn't hold her accountable, he continues to show us that he would rather be in a toxic situation with a toxic woman rather than be a man, stand up for himself, and realize that this female predator needs to be cut out of his life. And that's the saddest part about your Will Smith and his apologies. He shows us that he's not sorry, and he shows us how actually sorry and pathetic he is, because he would rather remain in a toxic marriage, he would rather remain in a toxic life, and he would rather go out here and keep putting up stories where he looks bad rather than go out here and do the hard work of walking away from a toxic female. And that's why I cannot really deal with this whole apology mess, because when I look at this Will Smith, he's sitting here continuing to apologize, and there's nothing to apologize for. You just deal with these kind of situations and you move on from these situations, because again, people who love you understand, yes, you do get angry like this sometimes, and sometimes people do lose it like this. And the reason why, again, beta males explode in rage is because they don't know how to navigate their feelings, they don't know how to process their emotions, and they don't know how to problem solve. And sadly, Will Smith is looking to work on solving any of his problems, and that's why he's come back from your India, not a man focused on making changes to his life, but he's come back to go back to the status quo. And that's why, even with millions of dollars and an Academy Award, at the end of the day, your Will Smith is not a success. He's just a pathetic individual that you just have to shake your head when you look at him. Now, if you want to pick up some of my men's issues books so that you don't wind up like Will Smith, you can pick up my books, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Manginas, They Look Like Men But They Act Like Ladies, The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, The Man Crisis, and you can also find Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com and other online booksellers, and hopefully these books will help you not become like Will Smith, but a man who's ready to go out here and take on the world. And if you want to learn how men like Will Smith become dysfunctional and backwards like he is, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Given to temptation, pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.